Gilgamesh, that is an epic, a long poem about the king Gilgamesh, who was the king in Sumeria, which is in the Middle East, 5,000 years ago, of the city Uruk. Now, and the poem now tells that he was a mighty and strong person, and that he was loved by the gods. But then it happened that some noble people were saying about him to the gods that he was a tyrant. And now the mother goddess made Enkidu to challenge him. But they two ended up becoming friends, Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Now, at one time when Enkidu dies and confronted with his mortality, Gilgamesh searches to become immortal. He then gets a plant, and that plant does not prevent him from dying, but as long as he lives, he is strong and healthy and young. That plant has been stolen by a water snake, and he is despairing, but when he comes to the realization that he can through fame reach immortality, and that fame he wants to gain through making great deeds and also building everlasting monuments. That poem was found in 1845 in Nineveh by archaeologists, written in the language cuneiform, and fragments of that poem were also found in other places in the Middle East. And it is the oldest recorded type of major text found. That is according to Miles Kelly, World History Book on the page 176 and 177. If you click this video away, then please tell me what the reason was so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history today. Gilgamesh. I've read that word a couple of hundred times in my life and I never looked at it closely. Gilgamesh. Now, Gilgamesh, and after we've done it, we're going to do Neckstretching. And if you participate in the Neckstretching, then it's very risk. Gilgamesh. This epic poem is from Sumeria, one of the earliest civilizations to have city-states, laws and irrigation. I don't know what irrigation is. Okay, it is from Sumeria, a city-state. And Gilgamesh is the name of the poem. Now, Gilgamesh was a real king of the Sumerian city Uruk, around 5,000 years ago. Okay, there was Sumeria, and Sumeria was a city-state, and the city was Uruk, and there was at one time a king, 5,000 years ago, with the name Gilgamesh. And there's also a poem written about Gilgamesh. In the poem, but it's an epic poem, so probably it's a very long like a book. In the poem, King Gilgamesh is a man of mighty strength who is loved dearly by the gods. When the nobles of Uruk complain to the gods that King Gilgamesh is a tyrant, the mother goddess makes a hero called Enkidu to challenge him. Gilgamesh meets his match in Enkidu, and the two become firm friends. Okay. Whether the nobility of Uruk was complaining to the gods about the king Gilgamesh, that he was a tyrant, there was the mother goddess who made now someone else a hero called Enkidu. But when facing Gilgamesh, Enkidu and Gilgamesh became friends. When Enkidu dies, Gilgamesh begins to fear his own death. He embarks on a quest to find out how to become immortal. Okay. When it happens that Enkidu dies and Gilgamesh wants to find out how to become immortal, he does not win eternal life, but Gilgamesh is rewarded with a plant that will keep him young and strong for the rest of his days. When a water snake steals it from him, he nearly despairs. Okay, he gets a plant. He's still gonna die, but as long as he lives, he has the appearance of being young and also the strongness of being young. And also young and strong. But the water snake steals it from him and he is near to despair. And Gilgamesh finally realizes that the only type of immortality humans can achieve is fame through performing great deeds and building lasting monuments. Okay, and he comes to the realization the only way to become immortal is making great deeds and to build monuments. The poem was discovered in 1845 when archaeologists were excavating at the ancient city of Nineveh. That is also, we had in the previous part, there were 7 clay tablets found with a Babylonian myth. Or was this a Mesopotamian myth? It was Mesopotamian, but Babylonian lies in Mesopotamia. And we know from our part about Alexander the Great that Babylonian lies in the south of Syria, or lied. Experts think that Gilgamesh was first written down on clay tablets in an ancient language called cuneiform. It is the earliest recorded major work of literature. The earliest recorded form of major literature, Gilgamesh, written probably in cuneiform. Fragments of Gilgamesh have been found by archaeologists in ancient sites throughout many countries of the Middle East. And some fragments of his text have been found at other places throughout the Middle East. Okay, let's try to remember the things. The ancient Sumerian stone relief shown the hero Gilgamesh as the central figure. Okay, Gilgamesh is an epic poem from Sumeria in the Middle East. It is about a king which was the king of a city Uruk in Sumeria 5,000 years ago. And he is loved by the gods. He has mighty strength and is loved by the gods. But complaining by the nobles about him being a tyrant to the gods makes the mother goddess making a hero to challenge him, but they two end up becoming friends. And that person was Enkidu. We have to name it also. Uruk and Enkidu. Now Enkidu dies. He wants to become immortal. Facing his own mortality, he wants to become immortal. He gets a plant. He achieves to get a plant, which keeps him young and strong, but he will still nevertheless die. A water snake steals it, and he nearly despairs. He comes to the realization that only performing great deeds and building lasting monuments will make him immortal. For fame, basically. It was discovered in 1845 at Nineveh, written in cuneiform. First major work of literature found, and it's also found at other places in the Middle East. The difficult things are Suriname. It is Sumeria. Suriname is in South America, in the north, the country. It is Sumeria. Sumeria, Uruk, Gilgamesh, and Enkidu. 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 Sumeria, Uruk, Enkidu. I'm going to start the camera and try to set it. Gilgamesh, that is an epic, a long poem about the king Gilgamesh, who was the king in Sumeria, which is in the Middle East, 5,000 years ago, of a city Uruk. Now, and that poem now tells that he was a mighty and strong person, and that he was loved by the gods. But when it happened that some noble people were saying about him to the gods that he was a tyrant. And now the mother goddess made Enkidu to challenge him. But they two ended up becoming friends, Gilgamesh and Enkidu. Now, at one time when Enkidu dies, and confronted with his mortality, Gilgamesh searches to become immortal. He then gets a plant, and that plant does not prevent him from dying, but as long as he lives, he is strong and healthy and young. That plant has been stolen by a water snake, and he is despairing, but when he comes to the realization that he can through fame reach immortality, and that fame he wants to gain through making great deeds and also building everlasting monuments. That poem was found in 1845 in Nineveh by archaeologists, written in the language cuneiform, And fragments of that poem were also found in other places in the Middle East. And it is the oldest recorded type of major text found. This is according to Miles Kelly, World History book on the page 176 and 177. I'm going to stop the camera. That was the history part. If you were here for history, you can go directly to the next part of history, where we will continue with history. If you stay here and participate in the Neckstretching, next is standing shoulder width wide apart and breathing in and reaching with the fingers as far as possible. Again down, reach as far as possible. And another time. Reach as far as possible with the fingertips. And now in the front. And again back. Front and down. Have the feet standing together, arms to the side, and circle around with the arms. The both side exercise, backwards. Legs again shoulder width wide apart. Toe up, shoulders back, breathe calmly. And breathe out and bring the head over to one side. Chin down to the clavicle, breathe out. Again in, lift the gaze, turn it back over to the other side. Chin down onto the clavicle, breathe out. Breathe in, lift the gaze and turn it back into the middle and over to the other side again. Breathe in and then breathe halfway out and circle the head over to the other side. Breathe again in, halfway out and then circle over. Back into the palms together, the elbows together, the fly, and breathe in and reach high. Hold it down. In and up. Hold it down. Hands back, breathe in. And out, reach in front. Head back. Out in front. Have the feet standing together. Intertwine the fingers behind the back. Toe up, shoulders back. Breathe in. And out, bring the head over to one side and the chin down to the clavicle. Pull the hands down to the ground. Breathe in, lift the gaze and turn the head over to the other side. Toe up, shoulders back. Breathe in. And out, chin down onto the clavicle and pull the hands down to the ground. Lift the gaze and turn it back into the middle. Have the feet standing shoulder width wide apart. Intertwine the fingers behind the back and bring them over to one side. Toe up, shoulders back, breathe in. And out and turn the head over to the side where the hands are. Breathe out, chin down onto the clavicle. Pull the arm and the shoulder down. Breathe in, lift the gaze and turn it back over to the other side. Hands over to the other side. Toe up, shoulders back, breathe in. And out, chin down onto the clavicle. Pull the arm and the shoulder down. Lift the gaze and turn it back into the middle. Have the feet standing together. One arm behind the back, breathe in, the other one up. And breathe out and bring the head over to one side, down pull. Breathe in. And out, look to the hand on top of the head. Hand again down, other hand behind the back, breathe in, the other hand up. And out, bring the head over, down pull. Breathe in. Out, look to the hand on top. Breathe in, the arms up. And out, lean back and draw the shoulder blades together. In and up. And out and down. In and up. Fingers together and lean back. The reed in the wind. In into the middle. Out, lean to the side and fur in the wind. In into the middle. Out to the other side. In into the middle. Intertwine the fingers in the reach high. Reach out, reach in front, hold back. Look down. In and up. Out across the area down. Breathe in, reach high. out and in front, in and up. Out lean back with long arms for sky hug, in and up. Out and back, in, out the hands down, briefly lift the arms up. Out and down, in and up. Out and down, in and up. Bring the hands to touch, allow the hands down to heart center. Let's pause the next stretching. Thank you very much, and next time.